And it is the second semi-final, and we see that NR is here with Yennefer leading the reverse. I don't know how well into lore that works, but it is what it is. She kinda didn't like them much.
Yen was a part of, Sirius the leader who wasn't around, but Yen in hand here, she was part of that hunt, the short story.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that she probably didn't like them much.
Yeah, fair.
Okay, so bans were correct. I didn't have to change that. Score is 0-0. And the stage is set. I do witness mutagenerator in Lerio's hand. No golden necker as well, so we'll see how he decides to play it out.
Yeah, so notably, Generator is the only artifact in Lerio's deck, so you'd imagine it wants to come out of Golden Echo most of the time. But you can also play Generator for a lot of carryover in round 1, so it could be tempting to even just play it out from hand, but if that was the case, you would have expected it turn 1 and not the Reinforced Ballista.
And yeah, Dauren is going aggressive here, has the waters, has 3 and board to drop as the next card potentially. Other than that, well, yeah, it doesn't really, unless you have Fove on board, doesn't really get the Zeal. But it's still, like, it's a 6 guys, it is a 6 provision card with 6 power that has some like synergies with well, chip damage is good, movement is good, it heals, so it can occasionally soak some of it. Yeah. Just that other priorities and other provision things are chosen over it, but I do like this square build. I played a little bit with it as well. Wait, casters actually playing games? Maybe not many, but occasionally we do. So yeah, yes. The boar is here, charging to the front row, attacking one of the machines.
So, letting these Siege Masters live, opting to damage the Reinforced Ballista, put a bit of damage on that, could set it up for a kill with perhaps a Dwarven Skirmisher. Or maybe a high roll from Bountiful Harvest onto something like a Bowman.
I mean, you can look at the Shiro lines, but this is a bit premature to invest your Shiro.
Yeah.
Plus, there is a TA, so I wouldn't be really surprised if it's dropped, but maybe Lerio prefers to float it. Dauren started very aggressively, so maybe you expect that you'll have to commit. I don't know, never mind, but yeah, maybe he wanted to protect like Yennefer or something if he has to play more into this one.
I think if we were going to see the Yennefer, it probably would have came down the same turn as the Waters of Broccolon, because you could have used the Siege Masters and gotten like 3 damage onto both of those Dryads. Somewhat cheap investment, but I'm curious to see how the ship ballistas are going to play out here. Playing these Reinforced Ballistas early rather than the Redanian Archers is quite different because you can't stockpile the charges and save them up on these Reinforced Ballistas. You're forced to spend them every single turn. Whereas the Redanian Archers, you are able to bank them up, and we do see it coming onto board now, so that it is used immediately to help finish off that Dryad Fledgling.
Yeah, I can see this match going. Yeah, I can see this match going into like engines round 1, and then you just try to win with the River Hunters, so that Ship Ballista is just an afterthought.
A gold chain. Will it suffice to end the old fool?
Okay, so this skirmisher doesn't really.
Open deck lists, it's known there is no way for Dauren to give armor here to the skirmisher, so no need to finish it off. Just knocking the armor off is all that's needed to get rid of that order. But these dwarves on board opens the path for the volunteers to recruit even more volunteers and help close this gap. So slight point lead here for Lerio, but much better engine potential on the board, which can combo quite well with the ship ballista. And curious whether this decree could even be used to tutor a second.
Yeah. There was, yeah, a point in just using all your orders. I think Lerio had exactly enough to deny the dwarf present on the board, and then thinning wouldn't be possible, so Dauren would have had to go a different route, but in doing so you definitely cancel your ability to get any value from ship ballistas, so maybe that was the point. Okay, we see Yennefer, look, she already zapped 2.
And I think the highest value you can get out of Siege Masters in this deck is using them to reset the cooldown on the Yennefer, because she can deal damage to multiple units at once. And I think we might finally see all these orders getting cashed in.
Yeah, look at this Yennefer. Zap. Zap. Yo, so good. Zap.
So I wonder if Dauren wasn't put enough respect on those Siege Masters at the very start of the round. I mentioned the Treant Ball was used to ping off the armor on the Reinforced Blister rather than clean up one of the Siege Masters. And you see how much damage each Siege Master charge cooldown reset ended up getting here. It's a huge point gap. This Ship Ballista ended up boosting a Reaver Hunter in deck up to 9 power. Good luck dealing with that.
Well, we just witnessed Yennefer dominance like that, providing also in the end with all the clicks the buff to the River Hunters. I was definitely entertained by this sequence, and yeah, now the pieces fall together. If you this is your first time seeing this deck, that's why the things were floated. That's why potentially 1 power unit was left on the board to maybe cash from the second ballista if the round goes that far. But in the end, Royal Decree was preserved. We see Mutagenerator saved as it's as this deck lost Floatsome, it lost a lot of firepower, but yeah. Mutagenerator is guaranteed to pull. It's only that you need to actually find your things to go through with your game plan. And here also seeing that 1 Bountiful Harvest was played, seeing that Isengrim's Council is a card. Lerio cannot just slam the 2 power River Hunter and leader it. That would have been just straight up a trade for favorable trade for Shiro. Instead, he could have used the big one, but opts for a pass, taking a long round with the rivers. Need to be mindful about the Shiro. But if you don't buff your River Hunters, well, Shiro is 5. What is he doing anymore? Like, you are not precision strike to shoot it shoot it and lower its power. So, Golden Acre and Mata both missing.
Yeah, but you can use Decree to get the Mata, but you'd much rather save it to guarantee access to, well, frankly, any of this Reaver Scout ship list to Idarin. So finally manages to find this Mata Huri, and we will see what this Decree ends up playing. We'll see what the top deck unit from that Golden Necker ends up being. And as you mentioned in the deck review section, we are in a case where it looks like Dauren is likely going to play both Frog Mating Season and Filavandrel in the same round. But I wouldn't be surprised if we just see Filavandrel being played just at 5 power perhaps, and trying to get a damage-oriented special to clean up one of these Northern Realms engines. Could be a fast here.
Okay.
Two boosted units, you could set the Philavandrel up to 7 power.
Yeah, that's funny. Also, while we are witnessing the gameplay, thank you guys for the crowdfunding of the event. We got additional donation and now the prize pool is getting additional $185. So another sizable donation of about $50 came. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for supporting the event. This is the last one of this cycle. Okay, so we see now back to the gameplay. Golden Necker finally in Lerio's hand has Mutagenerator. Mutagenerator usually used as a round 1, round 2 cards to create it, but in round 3, while you don't have units in your deck, you are supposed to have some on board, so that will be utilized. You have Royal Decree for Idaran as well. So even if you miss that directly from Golden Necker, you will be fine. Now the problem is this deck is not playing Nivelan and you are up against the guerrilla tactics that can move a lot of your units into the back row. So even if you have your Idaran unanswered, if he's moved, he's just spawning the baby river hunters on the back row, and that's not really beneficial.
So, the question is...
I do not mince words.
Okay, with not many things to lock in the deck, Skirmisher is one of the cards which has an active order. Lerio decides to use the lock here. Thing is though, using a lock here, you're not setting up your own engines, and each turn you delay setting up your engines, you are losing a number of points. Then again, trying to set up engines into a 3 damage order on the Skirmisher can also be quite a difficult task. And it looks like it will be frogs coming out from the Philavandrel. So maybe this valve is just going to be used to tutor Nature's Rebuke instead, and we're going to see Simless playing double backup plan.
Yeah. Okay, so Lerio also kind of needs a bronze on the board, right? Because if you open with the Golden Necker and pull Idaran as the top card, your reinforcements are dead. So something needs to be done either with the River Hunters or the Lyrian Arbalists try to sneak one in, but playing against Rebuke deck, backup plan deck, you don't really expect that to happen. So one way is of course to just slam the tallest River Hunter and use leader ability on that. I don't know how I'm liking that. Guerrilla tactics being the movement leader is also not really helpful here, so decides not to use the leader on it. But that kind of just plays into the Shiro on the River Hunters later on. So this one is getting waved. Or is it just getting moved? Problem with moving is that it allows Idaran to be opened, and well, while you click and split them on the back row, Idaran starts to jam them onto the front row. So yeah, the heat wave is being taken.
Yeah, but 3 cards into round 3 and no engine set up yet, and this is the issue in this sort of matchup, because you know the opponent has a lot of control, that you're very carefully trying to play around this bit of control and that bit of control, but in doing so, you struggle to get things onto the board. You make your own sequencing perhaps a bit more suboptimal in doing so. And this Golden Egg, which you want to play close to the start of the round, you want to start getting those Mutagenerator boosts going for playing your units on the front row, and it's just awkward due to them not being found. So going to see a Decree here, just getting the Idaran, going to be floated at 5 power.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, both into the Rebuke.
Yeah, seems like a likely line to be taken.
Deals with that.
But
having Shiro at 5 is also like exactly what you need, knowing that your opponent plays, still haven't played the 2 power.
Yeah.
river.
Good thing, however, about doing this is that now you only have bronze units in your deck. So it means you're guaranteed to get a reinforcements target with the golden neck. You'll either get 2 copies of the Reaver Scout or 2 copies of the Ship Ballista. And you'll be able to get them both boosted because the mission generator will be sitting on board before the reinforcements copy gets played.
Yeah.
It's also worth noting this squad is going to get answered by this Baron as long as there's still space on the front row for Lerio, due to the Northern Realms having secured that last save. You still need to make up the points here, and it's time to pull the trigger. I don't like this rope, it's feeling quite scary to me.
Okay, so the scout is missed. That is also taken quite a lot of the power out of Lerio's hand, I feel like. No, if I had to call it on the spot, this looks like Dauren's game at the moment. We have delayed River Hunters, but yeah, as you mentioned, the Muto Generator shenanigans would have been would feel counterproductive to Shiro, but yeah, there is no scout at the moment to copy, and you cannot really get much value from the ship ballistas unless you play your arbalists.
Who am I to kill?
And you can't get much value from the Ship Ballistas when they've both been dismantled and burnt to pieces by that Shiru.
No, I'm not sure I'm liking it too much. But like, the ballista's only good when other targets are present, but I guess they would have been buffed, and yeah, by the River Hunters being 6 provision units as well, so Dauren decided, but that might be an early trigger, but I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, there's, look, with 4 turns left, I'm not sure these Arbalists, the Reavers, the Redanian Archer are going to have enough time to gain that value, even if they do manage to live. But keep in mind, we still have to see Simlison's double backup plan. And we're going to see Catwitcher Adams being played for quite a bit of value with all these frogs sitting on the front row.
Blindfold, whatever for.
Okay, this doesn't feel correct as the frog with vitality dies to an archer and arbalists. But I guess playing into a bigger baron. No? Yeah, okay. I was like, what are we keeping charges for now that the ship ballistas are gone? But yeah. Gone, so. Only 3 frogs survive. Not sure how much value do they generate here when we are not seeing second frog come in, and well, backup plans generate damage cards quite often, so we see that this last arbalist is getting removed quite easily.
Silly me. Above sabotage, you'll find yourself
And we
below
have
ground.
a little bit of extra elves. Vrygheff Saboteur is a card that spawns their die if you have an artifact, so wholesome 6-point creator. And yeah, there is just... It's funny because this round Lerio was denying his, as you mentioned, engines for quite a while. The engine that he tried to float was answered, but using leader on the River Hunter without leader on and clicking when your opponent plays guerrilla tactics was just not a winning line either.
Yeah, I don't know what you can do here in this round as Lerio. I think this is probably the best case scenario, is getting into this 10 card round 3, you get as much chance as possible to maximize your engine value, but in saying that, you need to actually have them stick, and that's just so hard to do. And I don't know what line you could have taken. Maybe you could have tried to lead her earlier. I mean, there's always the worry that just plays into the Shiro too much, but...
Okay, and we get the forfeit. Lerio had enough. He sees that Dauren didn't really miss any cards.
So good start to the series here for Dauren. Gets the immediate win with the square.
Not the first time we're seeing it in the span of 7 days. Although it went both ways last week, I think. Day 1, Self-Wound was struggling, but day 2, Death Wish was also losing some of those.
Yeah.
So it might depend on your draws. Here we do see for Dauren the crown for thinning is present. He also has Mashi with double Ciliana Harpy, so the entire combo is there. And he has Dagon. Archie didn't go for Dagon against Devotion deck, but against something that literally plays Heatwave. You kind of want that Dagon out playing for its provisions and carry over points immediately. So yeah, Dagon Royal Decree opener. So 5 units getting infused with Death Wish, boost the lowest power allied unit by 2 and worship the Dagon. Why does the worshipping matter? It's that Call of the Depths is there, and it comes out when the Dagon is worshipped 4 times. So standard self-wound opening as well. You never know. Do they commit? Do they go all in? What is this? This is very slow. But at the same time, yeah, if you don't start slamming points by like turn 3, you'll be so far behind that you will be just forced to pass.
This hand is not the round 1 contest hand for Lerio here. The low value cards you have, this Martyr, the Vial, the Maxi, the Squirrel, none of those play for that many points, that much value. Notably, you're missing both Drakars, you're missing both Corsairs, you're missing your Svalbard Priest, and even this Augate Immortal, which is the sort of gold that you're more happy to commit in this round 1, to have that working with your bronze engines like the Priest, get those points up so that if Deathwish decides to go for a tempo pass at 7 cards, you're not just left 20 miles behind with nothing, no vehicle to catch up with.
This maxi looked very decent. 6 bronzes at the bottom of the deck. So might have been a keep. Considering Neuromancy is also in your hand, you should be fishing out the missing pieces. We're also seeing the crown play with the Brewers Ritual, pulling Giant Toad. That's why it's always cute to infuse the consumes, because Toad, it's not its last appearance, it will be a consume trigger later on. So nice little thing in there. What's the Dagon? It was worshipped once. So like you can tempo pass, but then you are definitely losing your Dagon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the issue. And oh my gosh.
Yo. Okay, this is the tempoist of all the passes. What a setup from Dauren here.
I think I don't see how Lerio could catch up here in
4 cards.
Yeah. It might just be Squirrel to banish the Dagon artifact, the Call of the Depths, and just say, fine, you can win on even from blue.
Okay, so you Draco Turtle, Martrum, Knut, and then a Neuromancer something, plus couple of leader charges, plus Vial. Maybe maybe you get there. But no reason to start with the Draco Turtle. You make the decision, as you mentioned, like you win or I'll actually commit after playing the Squirrel. But yeah, Dauren telegraphed his pass. You never burn 2 leader charges on the 7-card barrier unless you're slamming that. So, 44 points. A little bit of quick math from Lerio. We'll take the entire rope most likely, as I mentioned, so we can start counting. So this is an 8, right? That's 18.
Yes, it will have time to
24.
fully resolve if you play 3.
24. Then you Martyrdom for 12 as well. So that's like 36, and we are already 2 cards in. And then we need about 20 points. Okay, he's going for it. And he is picking the Draco Turtle as the target. It also generates some extra armor, so that maybe after hitting it with Knut or Martyrdom's leader might be committed to just squeeze in by 1 point. Also, Lerio didn't even rope the entire rope duration, so definitely didn't want to take a pass on 7. Committed to this.
Do you need to drop the Chaos Troll here? Could you, or maybe can you Martyrdom Heatwave Leader? Would that do it? Yeah, it is the Chaos Troll. Yeah, I don't think Knut Martyrdom is enough here. And you use all the armor from the Draco Turtle, so the leader wouldn't help you with that situation.
Yeah,
so instead, you're going to need to actually introduce more armor onto that Draco Turtle to turn into points, which is where that Chaos Troll click comes in.
Okay, we're slowly getting there. But this is a single player puzzle game for Lerio at the moment, so basically mini Thronebreaker. Okay, and this is enough. So,
and if you could even Nearmancy for carryover. But with the Squirrel already played, I don't think that's much of an option.
yeah, Gwentfinity doesn't really achieve anything if you are not pushing 3 cards down into the round 2. Okay, so Heatwave is taken as the carryover, removing the Toad.
Yeah. So a neat play if there was still a Toad left to play out in this round 2 dry pass for Dauren would have been to, play the Toad and then go for the Megascope. But that won't really be a possibility here. Instead, you can at least play the Squirrel, get rid of the Draco Turtle, and I'd expect that we're going to see the Succubus set up as well. And then maybe even the Megascope, because you do want to end up playing 3 units this round to ensure your Arendite is growing as much as it possibly can. Arendite already at 6 power, sorry, 6 damage, to be more specific, which is quite good heading into round 2 when you pass the 7 cards.
Yeah, it will be at what, 10 damage already at the start of the next round, so pretty decent. At dealing with threats as well. Finds Heatwave, also quite important card in this one, so... Do you commit location? Okay. Plays back row. And this is a certified Dauren moment, I guess. Unlucky there. You were mentioning Megascope, so as you mentioned that, I was thinking, okay, it makes sense. You can even just consume for the fancy points and then Megascope it up, but you cannot Megascope when you don't have a Megascope in hand. And there we have it. He had enough.
Yeah. Not keeping the Megascope means that you also don't have a 3rd card to sort of toss away here, because you want to keep all the Slayer Harpies to get as much bonded value as possible. I understand taking all the mulligans searching for that Arendite, it's still missing and it might not be found here.
Okay, it's coming.
And it's the Megascope coming back to haunt
And literally last card, I guess.
Oh.
Peller. Well, it does things on the Sigvald's bleeding, essentially, but yeah, it's definitely not an Arendite. That was at 9, with your turn being 10, as I mentioned. Okay, so losing a big card to Mulligans and also losing the Toad carryover. Like this would have been a food for Toad.
Yep. And with all leaders gone, I question how we're going to get enough consumes here.
There is 6 consumes basically available. 3 Siliana Harpies, you can go for Chimera. And you have the Cyclops with AQ.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No Endrega Warrior Infusion with the Death Wish, so otherwise that could have been tutored, but Dagon had different priorities.
Okay. Looks like this round Dauren is going to be serving us up meatballs and higher vampires. Getting the main combo of this deck together, the AQ going to be able to spawn a second Deadlock higher vampire. And that does give a lot of food for the vampires and a bit of food for thought for Lerio. And with all these points coming onto the board, you got to wonder how big that Arendite is getting, but we know Lerio doesn't, that Arendite is conspicuously missing at the bottom of the deck. And here comes the first Slayer Harpy. Going to require the next one to be played to start that Slayer Harpy chain going. And get those eggs, but without any leader charges, it's going to be difficult to finish off the final egg of the combo. You might even want to just leave them at 4 power uneaten so that the Spellblood can't be triggered too many times.
Yeah, at the same time, the Siliana Harpies creating those extra units, those drones, they kinda don't matter into the Spellblood because a lot of damage, but look, there is a 16 and 11 power Siliana Harpies, so even if they are getting damaged, you will still end up with 7-10 power units. So not a bad play to have, but yeah, might have been even more for Dauren with that Toad, with the Peller replaced for a better card. We'll see if that's actually enough for him. Okay.
So yeah, and you see, this is the power of the Slayer Harpies. They give you good consumes, and when you get that bonded, you're just getting the extra eggs, and who doesn't love waking up to some eggs? I'm not sure Slayer Harpy is the type of egg I want to make out of my omelets, but maybe some people are into that. I don't think Spellblood it likes those eggs very much, because while Spellblood likes turning these cultists into rare abominations, I don't think he'll like turning those Slayer Harpies into points the opposing Dauren.
Okay, so Succubus is getting placed next to the other Deathwish units, faking out the Endrega Warriors plays that we are not about to see, sadly. But yeah, all those explosions with the Deathwish units, you inadvertently triggered some of it, as you mentioned, so not the worst situation to be in as a Deathwish player.
And I wonder when this Spores gets played. I wouldn't be surprised to see it sooner rather than later, because you want to play the Spores before the Spellblood, since the Spellblood will be losing value if you do damage to something you're going to Spores later. And the other good thing is playing the spores here can make the sequencing a bit awkward for Dauren in trying to queue these answers up.
Good call, we do see the spores. And it's not like the Deathwish units. Deathwish deck is playing too tall, you just consume too many times, but at the same time it's incredibly rare that you're producing like 50-point units.
Yeah, and yeah, the lack of consumes I mentioned at the start of the round, that's why we see this Dolder Lock being played not for a Succubus, not for a consume target, but actually for a Chimera, which is usually not the case, not what you see in this sort of deck. But hey, when you have extra consumes from both the Mushy Truffle and the Dolder Lock, maybe it can pay off here.
Yeah, to be fair, you don't really need another Succubus, so this was the choice.
Show me what flows in your veins.
Okay, so we have Knut landing, but he will be only here for a minute. He doesn't last long. We're against Cyclops, I would assume.
Yeah, so we'll see. Is the canoe going to be set to 5?
Yeah.
Okay, it still will be.
I mean, you kinda need to have the points, and for that you have to use really the charges. So that's a fight with the vampire, and Knut might be liking a good fight. Likes to bleed a little bit, but no, cannot stand Detlef here because he came with a sidekick of the Cyclops here. So 23-point lead, still Mushy Truffle not clicked, so we will see most likely the the eggs getting popped by the Spellblood. So a lot of hidden points here, but at the same time almost fully swarm board for Dauren, so he will be taking a lot of damage.
Basically, the only unit on Lerio's board which will take complete damage from the Spellblood right now is that Priest. Everything else has ways to mitigate or even turn the Spellblood damage into points. We're going to see the Canute coming back here. Sigvald's a bit small, so it decides to just use the Olgierd as the damage target. And we're not going to set the Canute down to 7. I do like this play to some degree, because the sort of cool thing you can do is, if you play Spellblood the next turn, Spellblood will trigger the Berserk on the Canute, and then if the opponent doesn't deal with the Canute this turn, then they have both the Canute and the Spellblood threatening them at once, and this is while the Sigvald is still sitting on board.
Wait, what did the Pellar purify? And why wasn't it bleed? Because it was not bleed.
I am not sure.
I guess it was just one of the units on the front row, but I cannot really fathom the reason for that.
Yeah.
We get a flip from Lerio before, doesn't want to trigger one extra time, I suppose. Wait, no.
Yes.
It still triggers.
I think this is trying to avoid getting the eggs, but you'll still do 2 damage if you fully use your leader here.
But he is a
unless you use the
like,
Sigvald to kill off the Fanatic.
Look at the points though, and yeah, those explosions with the swarmed board were enough to put Lerio we had throughout the year. This is the end point of ladder-based tournaments for 2024. And maybe, you never know, maybe for the rest of the Gwent history. We'll see if anyone wants to continue the tradition. We see match number 3 here, Syndicate, Dauren, Mulligan and King of Beggars in round 1, so we won't be witnessing a brick in hand in regards to that on Dauren's side and on Lerio's side. As we reviewed the decks, this is a Golden Necker deck, so no KOB here. At the moment, what's the candle is in hand, and yeah, Salamandra. It was a lack. Salamandra Hideout is the artifact you want in the deck for the Golden Necker, so all is fine on that front.
And notably, compared to Meowmon's deck from the previous series, this Golden Necker Syndicate list actually means to play Golden Necker only once. We're not running Alyssa Henson to shuffle back the Golden Necker, but we are running this Evelyn Gallo we'll see on the lead here. It's always nice to start us off, especially if we're not running Tiger's Eye, because it means that you can protect it and it's going to be potentially bringing in 3 coins every single turn, as long as you're able to empty the bank each turn.
You and me, we ain't done
Okay,
yet.
so Bloody Good Friends. Give bleeding. If unit is boosted, damage it by 1 instead. Well, Evelyn is exactly that. She is boosted. Wouldn't be possible to bleed her anyway. There is no Junior in hand, no Morels. So she is kind of free to do her own stuff at the moment.
And yeah, so
But
will be the setup.
But yeah, her own stuff is also a questionable statement when, well, she brought you some money, you didn't spend it, get punished for that. I'm not working for you anymore, you don't give me extra jobs, so Evelyn is just chilling there, hanging around, not really working at the moment.
Hanging around for sure. So is this a bank? No, is this bank? No, Little Bird. I was gonna say, very early for a bank. It's gonna be a blind eye tag for the infusion, getting 4 gangs in total. Sorry, 4 gangs if you include the leader. But I don't expect that number to last very long here. Witch Hunter Executioner is looking quite tempting to clean up the bounty and to actually have a spender on board to give this Evelyn a bit more work to do.
Yeah, too much though. 8 coins to spend to get 3 back is not the smart investment at the moment. Might spend a couple, considering he probably Lerio continues
Maybe
to
next
play.
turn.
Yep, but the setup is there, so.
Finally a poison target now that there is a non-veiled unit on the board. And there is follow-up in the actually 2 failed experiments being main decked here by Dauren. Usually we only see 1 and the rest you try to hire off from Eventide Plunder. It's going to be Salamander Assassin to apply the next bounty here. Another bounty cleaned up by the Executioner, and no units on board for Dauren means no gangs set up either.
Yeah, having 2 in your main deck means that you are open for poison, so you need to be very mindful of like floating your failed experiments. Maybe you just want to click it immediately, pay the fee. Otherwise, against this Lerio deck, you meet fish decks from the other side, morale, location, all those possible. Interestingly, Lerio is not running a single failed experiment in his main deck. Only 1 is available from the Salamander hideout.
Yeah, and not even Eventide Plunders that give you a bit of that flexibility to potentially high roll.
Lerio had
Ignatius
his...
Hell.
Yeah, go.
I was going to say Ignatius Hell has already been healed up to 12 power out of 18. Just goes to show how many bounties have already been collected by Lerio. Blood Money Leader already on 8 damage. And yeah, now we do get a better spender here as Evelyn Gallo finally will get some more work to do and going to be able to give 3 more coins.
This is also not really a board state where Pirate's Cove can catch up cheaply, although there is Furco. Yeah, he needs ganks for collusion and tags for the pulling strings, so you're missing both of those things. Your Shady Vendor is just a human with no faction picked. He was kicked out of the Blind Eyes some months ago. Or almost a year by now. But here we are. Poisons are good when you have a spender on opponent's side of the board that buffs units. Lerio, of course, couldn't go all in on Evelyn Gallo because Morils is also a card and you're basically signing a death sentence for her if he would be in hand.
So it's getting a bit hard to play into now. For Lerio, you'd have to commit something a bit higher value, and in doing so, you just play into a 12-point poison. Notably, a failed experiment alone wouldn't be enough to get ahead here for Dauren. Would have to commit a leader charge to get ahead as well. And that may be what we see happening. I think in this sort of matchup, first say will be quite important in these future rounds. Dauren would like to have first say to get the gangs on board before Lerio has a chance to knock them down, so the pulling the strings would be available, and on the flip side, Lerio wants the first say to set up their damage engines, poison appliers, and clean up those gang values before they get that value. So wouldn't be surprised to see a bleed coming through here for Dauren.
What's your bleed hand? The perfect one. Well, a lot of golds at the moment. We're also at the 7 card break here, so you cannot just throw Novigrad and go. Like you talked about the potential importance of the first save, but yeah, Dauren also doesn't. He's not in a position where he can just establish round 3 carryover and say goodbye. In doing so, you risk in losing a card. But yeah. If he is interested in a bleed, Novigrad is a nice setup because you can try and combine cards coming from there for poisons, which he kind of doesn't have in hand, but you can create an extra attack and pull the strings at some point. So I wonder how deep do we see this round go. But opening is kind of free, like yeah, you want your pass, you can still take it.
Yeah, and this is it's common for the Necker bounty to defend with the Conjurer's Candle here. It doesn't help them with the temper, but it does give them a way to spend and potentially protect their engines. Critically, it allows them to boost key cards above 6 power so they're out of range of pulling the strings. And without BGF sort of in hand, it makes it a lot harder for Dauren to set up those potential pulling the strings. Of course, there's actually no pulling the strings in hand, so whilst we know there's no need to really worry about it beyond this Furco pulling one out, I guess maybe a second from bank. It's always going to be in the back of the mind of Lerio here, so click on the Novigrad, gets a Firesworn tag set up.
Yeah. So round his turn started. He clicked Novigrad, he clicked leader, and there is still time to play a card as well. you already spawned 3 units, spent some coins, and there is still card needed to be played. So yeah, he created the tags, took the blind eyes from the little bird. So you have 22 points, you have Firesworn, Tide Cloaks, and blind eyes on the board. Also nice to have like double Firesworn, just if something happens with the original one, the footman can take the lead. And now Lerio, okay, we see that he wants to establish Sirin over here. That allows you to buff without the fear of the tall unit being poisoned, but Morils is there, so you never know. You cannot go all in. I'm also not sure how long do you expect your Roland and Geller to stick around unless you protect them. but there is still Junior potentially.
On the side of Dauren here, however, we need a bit of coin generation. I don't believe Siggy is really available right now. The morals, you can't get the tribute going, so we're going to see Furco into this Eventide Plunder. Wouldn't be surprised if we go Street Urchins just to get that coinage going. Open up the option to actually spend on one of these tributes. And notably, this Furco play introduced 2 more gangs onto the side of Dauren, putting us up now to 4 gangs in total. And decent point gap here. I wouldn't be surprised if Lerio only wants to play the Golden Neck in response to the Siggy Mastermind. They're sort of similar cards, and they both play tutor out multiple cards all in one turn.
Yeah. Okay. We see Bank, Junior somewhere in the middle of the pack, and yeah, that's what I mentioned about Gellert and Roland. If you don't want to buff them, yeah, you probably don't really have expectations for them sticking around.
Yeah, well, it's not like you have much of a choice to buff Gellert either, and that's always his problem.
Yep.
As soon as that immunity wears off, it's quite easy to clean him up.
Yep.
So... And now we do finally have 6.6 coins in the bank for Dauren. More else is available. King of Beggars has exactly 6 charges left, so that could be opened up on the next turn. But maybe this morale is a tempting target instead if you want to try to protect your Sea Jackal. Because if the Sea Jackal goes, that's really your Tide Cloak tag gone, and then the ceiling on your Siggy, ceiling on your Collusion is quite a bit lower.
We have the tribute, and this is the Morales, and the target is indeed Morale. Doesn't care about Sirin over here. So what's the poison situation? There is of course Furco, yeah, Fish Tax Other, plus Golden Necker, whole shebang, the blood money.
This is
wait,
also...
how is the leader updated? You just when you collect the next bounty, right? So it shows 8
Yes.
damage, but inactive. So it's just the artifact
it
after
was.
the usage, because well, yeah, you need to see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So more protection here for Leo. This Roland can refund quite a bit of coins if we were to see this Golden Necker coming out now. And still not that huge of a point gap. Would be not too bad for Leo to catch up in 1, but a lot of spending coming down. I mean, this seems like the best chance you'll get for the rest of the game to play out the Siggy Mastermind for Dauren here. You have all the gangs, you can get that collusion going for maximum value.
Okay, setup. And here we go. Sigiruven getting slammed, pulling what exactly? Collusion should be 1. And just takes a Mutant Maker as the second one. Damage getting wasted. Nothing to pop the shield of this City Nova beforehand. No brawlers. And also no... what's his face? The second Bloody Good Friend is also unavailable.
Yes, so now it's a game of what is Golden Necker going to pull? Well, it's definitely pulling the Salamandra hideout. There's a 50-ish% chance it's going to find... oh, the Fist Tech? Yes.
Okay.
A bit of an overprofit here, but not like there was much of a choice here.
Okay,
Salamage for the straight up points to not overprofit anyone too.
And that potentially setting up Menge. But you don't really have offensive spender at the moment.
Yeah, this manga is looking quite sad. This Salamandra hideout click is also not looking particularly useful. 6.
So 6 coins,
I think I'm
Jacques.
pretty sure it's a 2-0 if Dauren fully commits.
And by the looks of it, that's what we are witnessing. All incoming, and based on the lemon math, it is a victory. Let's see. 12 points. Perko, can Lerio solve this puzzle? Is there a way? It doesn't really have many coins to play with as well. So there is Perko, Novigrad Justice.
Yeah, I think the best you can do is just the Justice, tutoring out a Blacksmith, but it's just not going to do it.
Almost there.
Because it's a tie.
It's almost there, but no way to get extra coin.
An evil one.
C'est la vie. Sometimes you are just exactly 1 coin short, and Golden Necker is of course the source of that over profit.
Erendite value when you're going second.
Okay, so let's go, and this is the Nether Realms from red coin for Lerio here. Saving Syndicate for the last one. If he succeeds at winning here, a Golden Necker present. A tutor for the Golden Necker was also present. Muted generator in deck. Doesn't run any like top deck setup. So playing Golden Necker without setup might backfire somewhat. Okay, muted generator. There is still 1 mulligan to take care of that. So can that wish actually take control of this match? And not in a sense that, okay, I'll tempo pass, but you catch up, and then in a long round 3, I don't have enough tools to answer all your engine cards. Let's see what strategy Dauren takes here, but yeah, you definitely don't want to get stuck in a round where 3 Lerio Arbalists land in first couple of turns, and then by the end of the round they are at like 15 charges.
I don't have a dirty mind.
This is another time where we're gonna be getting 4 infusions coming out early in this round 1.
Yeah, this time around, and Reg Warrior is here to like maybe not expend 2 leader charges.
Yeah, but then again, with 4 infusions out, we might be seeing Dagon returning this round as well. We might get 2 Dagons on board.
Okay, so there we go. Yeah, maybe wanted a different card there,
Yeah,
both for
much
special
different
and a unit.
engine. Yeah, reinforcements would have been very good here with that Arbalest sitting on board. Nice early in the round 1, but sometimes you don't quite get what you want.
So you just go for another Arbalest here? No. Okay. Second
Ballista?
Ballista.
Is it going to be able to get a couple of draws going with these Siege Masters? We'll see what gets found.
I'm an officer and a gentleman. I pass on every 10th round.
Okay, so we have unboosted 5 provision units, boosted 6 provision units. Just something to take note of. As yeah, I'll show the ship ballista for people who haven't seen it in action. It damages, like your damage can increase by the number of orders you used, but you boost in a random non-boosted unit in the deck. And if we look in the deck, there is literally like, Redanian Archer Arbalist Idaran, and you have Mutagenerator on the board. So Archer comes in, and now there is only Idaran.
So with these Siege Masters being killed off by the fog, we might not see a crazy Yen play like we did in the first game of this series. And unfortunately for that first ship ballista, this Cyclops is going to hit a really nice strike, catching all the way over the water to bring down the boat. But there is a second ship ballista waiting in the leftmost card of Lerio's hand. And quite a few charges already built up. So it could be getting a bit of value there, and a lot of damage that can be used just to win the round if need be. This Dagon is quite a juicy target. And I think Lerio just really needs to win round 1 and to get into as long of a round 3 as possible to get those Reavers set up and ticking.
Disgusting old man. His mere touch is
Okay, so Ildiko played front row, buffing up 2 units, and we do see some pinks spent as well. What?
Clicking around Arendite is at 4 damage now, so maybe a little bit worried about that. Wanting to have these 2 units at sort of the same charge level to make it so that the Arendite would do about as much removal no matter which one it ends up hitting. I assume that's the thought process.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we do have a Succubus already in graveyard here for Dara, and we have this last infusion which could be used up. One more offering to the Dagon to bring it back. But there's a lot of things you want to consume here, and there are only so many consumes. You have leader consumes, and then consumes if you play these artifacts. And Lerio's just going to slowly keep building this up. Stockpiling those charges, getting the reinforced ballista, and with the Ildiko sitting on board, anything played will get Zeal. So as soon as Lerio decides to pull the trigger on this ship ballista, it will be ready and rearing to go. So slow play with the
Yeah, this
bridge.
is the slowest Death Wish play you are ever to see, basically. The troll without the toad in the graveyard just playing for, at least it's playing for 5, since Dagon is also working as an engine on the side job. Do we see Yen committed at some point?
Yen would do a lot of work in round 3 with the Reavers, I would think. But you need to get to that longer round 3.
Okay, we go in now, I think. You cannot really risk floating the ballista, so...
So ship ballista time. Gonna set everything up nice and square if the Yen does end up coming down. And the ship ballista at 12 damage. Gonna boost up Idaran to 12 power. So... it'll be tough to deal with, and... okay, gonna be Dagon returning. So double Dagon, any Death Wish unit played is gonna boost by 2 now.
What was killed, by the way? Which unit did he prefer to kill with the ship ballista? Because I was expecting Dagon at first, but I kinda slept through the clicks. Imagine keeping focus on everything on the board in the video game.
I think it might have been the Cyclops that got killed, yeah. I was focusing more on the raw damage number and where the boost went.
Okay, pinks continue. Doesn't matter that you are done with the round if you got your ship ballista through, and yeah, we see Yen getting buffs from the Mutagenerator to 3 units and damage. no control left in Dauren like 3 turns ago when the Cyclops was played. So struggling here to build up a separation. So goes for the Masha truffle because, well, this is extra consume and you build up the potential of playing the golden froth for the next turn from the location order.
The issue is I don't see how Lerio wins this round though. Dauren should just have the tools to take this.
This is no time to whimper.
So we're gonna establish the Reavers. Set up as many 9s as possible. Get this Yen through again. Okay, although in saying that, there is a bit of a lack of consumes here. You can use Doldalock to eat up this Succubus, but then your final turn is going to end up quite awkward because you have the Succubus sitting on board, and then Dettlaff is your play, which doesn't help you with eating the Succubus. You would have to use a leader to eat either of them. So
Well,
actually going to be staying ahead easily here for Lerio. Maybe I undersold it.
yeah, Dauren is no stranger to committing both overwhelming hunger charges in round 1, so maybe we'll see. But yeah, throwing this Dettlaff. Well, there is a toad in the graveyard, so you do have quite a few points coming in here. If you decide to all in, of course. Mata is playing for 6. There is some passive point generation, of course, with the River Hunters, Yen, and the Pings.
Yeah. And if you do play into this, do you commit the truffle? You probably do, because
I don't think
you
you'll
need to win if you commit.
If you commit
And
leader
you can use
charge,
the
I don't
truffle.
think you do, because this is just a lot.
Okay, yeah, in that case, I don't think you would need to.
But if you don't commit a leader charge, would be like an expected maybe line, then maybe Masha Truffle will be clicked. And that would be the extent of it. Yeah, 20 points. Although let's count them points together. Mata is, of course, like Dauren didn't know that Mata would be there, but
Yeah, and she was the giant turd at 12 now, means this Yen Con isn't going to be able to get more than just 1 point on its zap.
wait,
We see the commitment.
there are 4 pinks altogether, so
Oh, okay, so
you
it
can
will
line
be,
up 8s, and that's
2 extra points there.
and
And the
River
Reavers will do
Hunters.
it by 1.
It's as simple as that, guys.
See, I was missing 1 ping, and that 1 ping is enough to get the Yen down, the Toad down to 8 power, so that the Yen is able to do the 3 damage all at once. And now that's a win on even for Lerio. That's now able to go into a 6 card round 3. Maybe not as long as you would have liked, but it gives you a chance to set up the Reavers straight away with a pretty tall Iterand that's going to be fairly hard to answer.
Yeah, it's also
but
massive,
Iron
like
Dive will be at
Dettlaff
12.
points are gone. Only 1 Toad left.
Yeah, no Succubus either. Yeah, Succubuses are all gone.
Yep.
Dettlaff is all gone. There's nothing left to consume here for Dauren. They'll have a Heat Wave, they'll have an Erendite.
Well,
But-
for that, knowing Dauren, he needs to draw the Erendite. We continue
Okay,
seeing this. No Erendite. I'm watching. And
Please do not tell me I cast a curse to this.
and we see the forfeit, but as you pointed out, yeah, there was not many things to play. 4 points with that love being thrown. So a 2-2 is a decent score to have in the semifinal. You want that to be competitive. Death Wish though, letting Dauren down at the moment, and now it's Death Wish against many poisons. is a very nice command for like the start of of the match. You always know when you need to start showing the match. We talked enough. There we go. Bounty.
And it's all the marbles here. Whoever wins this game, wins the series, goes through to the finals of the grand final tournament here, and the loser will unfortunately be eliminated from the tournament. This is what it all comes down to, and looks like Dauren has managed to find Erendite finally, but at round 1 playing from red coin, which is not usually what you want. On the plus side, does have both the the Dagon, and the Arrakis Queen, and those two. Oh, sorry, my gosh. Dagon and Brewers Ritual, and they can help win the round 1. I got there in the end.
Yeah. And Evelyn got to the board once again. 6 power, generates coins. There is the cursed blacksmith to spend them coins if you desire to do that immediately next turn. That way she's doing on red coin what it does on blue, but yeah, as you mentioned, the Erendite might be not the most powerful tool here. At the same time, bounty takes time to set up, like you cannot poison in one turn most of the times. Okay, so let's see, what's the point separation? 28, but yeah, with something like Brewers, the gap will be close to Erendite, will be competitive in this atmosphere.
But notably, Brewers Ritual is only going to get to pull 2 units out. Does get ahead by 1 point, but that is it for the Brewers Ritual. And unfortunately, both Toads Infused still stuck in the deck. You might want to tutor one of them with the Decree, potentially. You do still have the Whispering Hillock as a tutor for later, but we'll see what Dauren decides. And what a cute little thing you could do here for Lerio is use one of your bounties just on this bridge troll. And then if Dauren decides to eat the bridge troll, they trigger the bounty for you for free. The downside to that is that they can just leave the bridge troll alone and force you to bounty something else as well, or clean up the bounty yourself and trigger the death wish for them. So probably just deciding what to spend coins on to minimize the threat of the heatwave here. There's really no reason to not go down to the 0 coins here to get that 3 coin refill from the Evelyn.
Yep. So quite powerful card. We didn't see her in like the previous match. She was off for quite a few turns. Now she's been bringing coins every turn for Lerio, and yeah, that's why units are not at 6-7 power. They are already big and juicy. So that Dauren might have considered to heatwave something, but yeah, keeps the card for now. It's not like the heatwave would solve your problems anyway. And the problems are that the spenders are there on the board for Syndicate, the Evelyn is there. Well, the Caleb manga established, although... Oh, could be established, although that's not really ideal in this board state. So yeah, bounty goes on Dagon. That's not really enough to deal with him right now.
Yeah.
But with Hysteria and Evelyn bringing extra coins, you get there. And this is the tallest unit you are getting in this one, because Dauren is not running the Riptide. This highest base power unit. Okay, so Cyclops just casually consuming a foglet for lunch, dinner, I don't know. And deals with the first blacksmith in the process.
Yes. That was the first turn where Dauren wasn't actually ahead on the end of their turn. the Erendite didn't tick its that turn end. Bounty going to be collected here on the Dagon. Quite impressive to collect a bounty on this otherworldly being from under the sea, but these witch hunters, they have their ways, and yeah, with that cursed blacksmith but Spendigorn, it's going to be a whole lot more awkward to try to empty the coin bank here down to 0 for Lerio.
Yeah, people consider witch hunters like those useless bullies speaking on the weakest ones, but this one was like, okay, you have a old evil problem here, I'll gonna solve ya. Like this is basically a witcher solving some big problem. But no, just witch executioner. I guess he found the secret of dealing with Dagon.
Salamander Assassins would have been really nice here for Lerio. They're really effective at introducing a bounty and then threatening a poison follow-up onto said bounty unit. But yeah, missing them is a bit unfortunate. It's gonna have to be a Menge committed here. And we're gonna see Leader. Okay, that makes sense. I don't think he can afford to give up the round here losing on even. That would just be quite poor for Lerio here, so able to widen the point gap a bit, and this is... You have a Consume the Drago Warrior. The Ruckus Queen ain't looking so hot right now. Heatwave would probably be enough to just win the round here. But it's always nice to have that ability to take care of a threat, especially when you've already committed Cyclops and you don't have that Lord Riptide in deck, you don't have a second copy of Cyclops. So, okay, Erendite, only at 4 damage, but it will be able to clean up the Menge with the assistance of the Fog. Also going to be a leader committed to consume the Harpy Egg and get ahead with the points. So, again, it's a 1-point margin. These players are playing to a knife's edge here.
Yeah, and now Lerio is in a position of, well, the family. We potentially are getting Dauren versus the Babka Daurian in the final, but yeah, we have Roland and all the family ties in Gwent, left and right, being present, but yeah, leads with the hideout, so that means that Golden Necker, if we talked about Golden Necker being almost a guarantee of overprofit before, with the candle as the location to pull, artifact to pull, yeah, you most likely getting your bank full. So better spend everything before pulling that, but prefers to keep without the bank over the hideout because, well, you never know what bank will show you, and you definitely needed to show you the Golden Necker when the time comes, if you don't draw it naturally.
Yeah, and yeah, for a deck which has thinning but hasn't found any of it and isn't playing matter to tutor out that Golden Necker, you do want to keep that bank for that just safety blanket of being able to find what you really need. And Dragon Warrior here going to be able to get rid of quite a bit of bleeding. Maybe a slight misplay from Lerio by not putting 2 bleeding on the 2 units at the end of the row rather than the one in the middle. Probably loses a point of value there, but does manage to get a pass now. Really hasn't wanted to commit the Blindham brothers, and good reason. They can be really important later on in having poisons around, and, you know, poisoning the taller units that Deathwish ends up playing.
But maybe Lerio senses that a win in this round is up for grabs. And we actually see Engine's finishers. rope is burning. I think Gellert is flying onto the board any moment now. We do see that. Is there time to spend?
No.
Well, that's not
Loses
ideal.
4 points. That could come back to bite. Come back to bite for sure. And
The realm of the living severs your chain, abandoned now.
low value Pella, but hey, if the Pella is basically just trading out for a Gellert here, it's doing its job pretty well. Although now for Dauren to get around, we would have to commit something a bit higher value. But at the same time, if Lerio wants to continue contesting, needs to commit that value as well. We said how much you want to hold on to bank. And yeah, the Blindham Brothers coming through so late in the round, it's not ideal. And it actually is going to be the pass here.
Okay, what
And that heat wave wouldn't have been enough if we saw the full spend the previous turn, unfortunately.
I keep thinking maybe there was something, because it didn't look like the rope burned completely, but you don't run ships like over profiting profiting doesn't trigger anything, so yeah. I guess it was just a dissing between the players and the casters somehow. Usually it works in a opposite way though.
Yeah.
So a bit confused.
Okay, finds the golden necker. This Justice is looking awkward though. Doesn't have access to really any crown splitter to make it work. Would really love to find that off the Furko instead. Wouldn't be surprised to see that Justice heading back to the deck. And does find a Salamander Assassin. This could be quite nice here. But the Salamander hideout, whilst it's sitting on board, the fact that the Geller was already used means it's going to be quite hard to introduce a poison onto your own unit and then transfer that over to an opposing unit. But yeah, bouncing this Dettlaff could be a cute little play.
So Arendite is at 8. Nothing is sticking unless you're protecting it with the candle. And well, you don't really have that many things to begin with. So yeah, Salamander Assassin, as you mentioned, if the bounty is on, like you don't really lose much by not poisoning. That's basically a poison going through. So 18 point Ignatius achieved. Easy.
Yeah. So 6 profit for free there basically is pretty sweet. However, as we said at the earlier stages of this game, it might not even matter if you don't have a way to spend right now, and the way to spend is going to come through that golden necker. We might see you just bank here to try to find a spender, maybe try to find the Furko Justice to get access to the blacksmith, maybe see a tunnel drill or executioner getting played. Because you would like to try to empty the bank before playing out this golden echo.
Oh, look at this Furko. Just cheating on the top deck. Me, coach, pick me. Goes into fight. Kairos Blacksmith is the only target for this injustice. Spending a little bit to get ahead. I think roped once more. This last spend was delayed, so I'm not sure. Today I'm surprised we do see Lerio roping. I never seen that before. Spender is getting killed.
It's gonna get cleaned up, so that again that rope could come back to bite.
Do we see Ignatius flying with the heat wave gone? And also Blindheim brother not getting ahead. Although, no, only 2 damage and blood money as well. The alternative is just spamming Golden Egger here.
Yeah, do you just win with Ignatius Last Say, even
Yeah.
if you commit the Golden Egger here? I think it's probably a safer play.
Yeah, and you also get the insta-kill with the Morale, Bounty, and Assassin sitting on board.
Yeah,
Although
that is
both units are
very
dead.
sweet.
Both of them are
In my trade, I am a great
Dead Wish
artist.
units. Wait, what? What was that?
The AQ got killed, so the Dettlaff came out.
Yes, but why Bounted unit was killed before money
Because
was
it got double
spent?
poised.
He wasn't full bank
Right.
when he clicked it.
Maybe he thought was going to be ahead by so much that didn't need to spend on candle and could save the candle for the next round.
Okay,
But-
I can see that. Unless it
Yes.
just lagged in my brain for a second and he actually wasn't. But I think bank was full and we've seen the overprofit.
But yeah, now we're facing a potentially 20-point final play here from Dauren, but doesn't commit. So it's like Lerio not punished for that play potentially. Gets to keep the candle only at the 3 spend, and gets to keep the 6 coins in the bank.
Okay, yeah,
So-
maybe that was intentional, but... Okay, fair enough, you are still getting ahead by the spend later with the Roland. You keep your 18-point finisher, most likely your opponent played AQ, Dettlaff, and almost whole shebang, although Dagon is still coming
Yeah.
back. It's just that you need to consume the toads to worship it. Yeah. Okay, gets the breach troll on the last mulligan.
And no succubus in the graveyard yet.
Yep.
So yeah, no Dolderlock found early, no succubus found early, so it has to mold the succubus. And yeah, it's only going to be bridge troll as the, proper Death Wish target. And then the rest is just eating to bring back the Dagon. So with Erendite fully burnt up, this tunnel drill to lead is going to be pretty safe. Gonna be potentially difficult to get these poisons to stick. You don't need to play them early though. The heat wave is gone, so you can just play this Ignatius earlier in the round. Maybe play the Roland first, because it could be a bit of engine potential.
Yeah, I guess there is
I'll
no
give you a bloody
pressing
break, lazy shite.
need, no reason to postpone it at the moment. And this is where, I don't know, that dude, the Riptide could have been a potential play dealing with the unit on the board, making it more
A
awkward.
witch in every village, mama.
But
evil one.
yeah, kind of feels doom and gloom at the moment. Although yeah, there is a Death Wish triggering, the giant toad Death Wish, and we do have Dagon coming back.
Dagon is back.
There is still Toad, not playing front row. Yeah, makes sense
Yeah.
because you need to play back row for the Toad. But there are 2 Toads. Something was off here. You can at
no
least play in
succubus?
breach troll on the open board because that would be just killed, but I mean in the sequencing you cannot get 2 Toads out of the graveyard with 1 Death Wish
No.
unit, and all Toads had the Death Wish on them, so felt
Yeah.
like something could have been done, but you need Masha Truffle earlier, so I guess that influences.
Yeah, and
Also, yeah, but you have
Yeah,
leader, you
placement's a
have
bit
leader
off.
charge, but
you need to use the leader to deny the poison here, and it's unfortunate with the road placement here, but it's not going to really make the difference. And
okay,
I
so.
just sniff the teeth.
This is the end of the road in Masters 2024 for Dauren. Lerio gets into the final, so it's Archie versus Lerio. in the final. Great match. Hope you guys are sticking around for the final, because final is in, I don't know if Matol wrote how many minutes, but yeah, Bounty wins. Death Wish losing 3 times, right? So definitely
Yes.
weakest link here.